Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Politics on the Hindu's YouTube channel. I'm Nistura Hebbar, political editor of The Hindu and your host for a show where we attempt to go behind the headlines in stories making the news in domestic politics. Now, last week, both the India bloc and the NDA finalized their seat adjustments going into the Bihar Assembly polls. And just looking at the NDA, one can make out that it's Chirag Paswan who came out with the best deal out of the situation. In the NDA front, both the BJP and the JD were fighting as equal partners, a departure from the past where in the Lok Sabha elections, BJP would fight more seats and in the Assembly, the JDU would. This time, they are fighting an equal number of seats, 101 each. HAM, that is the Hindustani Awam Morcha, led by Union Minister Jitan Manjhi, and the Rashtriya Lok Morcha led by Upendra Kushwaha fighting 6 seats each, although both of them wanted more. But Chirag Paswan has got pretty much what he wanted. He's fighting on 29 seats. This is his first outing as party leader of the LJP alongside the NDA in an assembly poll. He did fight the Lok Sabha polls within the NDA. Now, how has this happened and how has Chirag managed? And why has this happened, first of all? And how has Chirag managed to perfect the art of the deal from very, very skilled negotiators like the BJP will be the subject of this week's Talking Politics. So why did this happen? From the get-go, Chirag Paswan's LJP was determined that it would be playing a maximalist game in terms of seats within the NDA. Chirag Paswan and Arun Bharti, who's a Lok Sabha MP from the LJP, and Chirag Paswan's brother-in-law, he's married to Chirag's sister, they bargained hard and put forward strong arguments to the BJP's leadership as to why they should be accommodated in terms of their demands. Now, the persuasiveness of these arguments is traced back to the Bihar Assembly polls of 2020. Yes, that famous poll that happened within COVID restrictions. Picture this situation now. Just before the 2020 polls, the LJP declared that it would be fighting the polls on its own. They cited differences with the JDU. At that time, it was said that Chirag Paswan had taken umbrage at the fact that Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar had first refused to accompany his late father Ram Vilas Paswan for his Rajya Sabha nomination process. Of course, he later went, but it looked like a very reluctant sort of a thing, and Chirag never forgot that. And there is a background to this difference between late Ram Vilas Paswan and Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. There are lots of things that happened in the past. They, of course, were part of a trio of big leaders who dominated Bihar politics in the 90s and the early 2000s, along with Lalu Prasad Yadav. They both served as ministers in a Vajpayee government. And Ram Vilas Paswan did have a problem with the fact that Nitish Kumar was given a very, very important portfolio of the railways at that time. Thirdly, Ram Vilas Paswan himself has admitted in terms of to media that in 2005, in the first election in that year, there were two elections for the Bihar Assembly in 2005. The one in March found LJP post its biggest ever tally of 29 seats. They were in a position of kingmaker. There was a bit of a hung house. He approached Nitish Kumar saying, let's get together, even though LJP was part of the UPA at that time, that, support me as a chief ministerial candidate, etc. And Nitish Kumar refused to do that. And later, of course, there was another election where the NDA won a full majority and there has been no looking back since for Nitish Kumar. So all of these things, there is a history there. We don't know how much of this is just urban legend and how much of it is based on facts. But the clear fact here is that there are differences between the LJP and the JDU. They came to a head when the late Ram Vilas Paswan passed away, and Chirag suddenly found himself alone. He thought, or maybe he was given to understand that, he was not a patch on his father and that he would have to give in a lot more in terms of seat demands, etc. As the Bihar Assembly went into polls, he said, nothing doing, I'm going it alone in these elections. So he was also facing two very particular kind of challenges at that point. One was, of course, internal, of control over the LJP in the face of competing claims made by his uncle and former Union Minister Pashupati Paras, and also, of course, between the differences between him and the JDU and the NDA, and the fact that he had just lost his father. So there was a change in perception about how much the LJP could demand without the colossal presence of late Ramvilas Paswan. So others speculated, of course, and there was a speculation that ran through the entire campaign of the 2020 Bihar election, that the BJP had also encouraged Chirag Paswan to fight alone so that he would affect some of the prospects of the JDU and basically make them a manageable partner for the BJP, slightly, end up with fewer seats, etc., etc. Now, whatever be the case for Chirag Paswan, with the passing of his father, late Ramvilas Paswan, considered the weather vane of Indian politics in terms of choosing the winning side in every election. It was a challenging time. Now, a lot of people say that, his father, of course, was a colossal of his time and that Chirag, would have to learn. But I personally know, because I have been covering BJP, etc., and Indian politics for the last 21 years, that when the time came to discuss an alliance between the LJP and the NDA in 2013, Ramvilas Paswan was in two minds about it, and it was Chirag Paswan who persuaded his father, saying that the Congress was going to be wiped out and that it was time that they jumped ship and went and supported the Modi-led NDA. So the 5% vote, he said, would stay with them if they did choose the winning side. And in this election, the 2020 election, therefore, going ahead, he needed to prove that he was the boss of the party, not his uncle, and also to prove that this 5% vote that has always seemed to have stayed with the LJP was still with them. This is despite Nitish Kumar creating the Mahadalit category, which extended some social welfare and other benefits to deeply marginalized Dalit communities, barring the Paswan community. All of that had happened. Despite that, the community remained loyal to the Paswan family and the LJP, and he wanted to demonstrate that as well in these elections, so that parties like the BJP, who were his allies, would understand that not only was he the boss of his party, but that he controlled those votes that used to earlier go for his father. So he decided to field 134 candidates in the Bihar Assembly, and also despite the fact that he accommodated a lot of people who didn't get tickets from both the NDA and the then Mahagathbandhan, he always maintained that he was Prime Minister Modi's Hanuman. So therefore, he always kept that door also open to a return to the NDA. He never said anything objectionable about the Prime Minister. This is unlike other NDA allies who walked out and then walked back in. He always maintained a great degree of dignity and also great respect for Prime Minister Modi. And he, in that entire election, he won one seat, that MLA, of course, very quickly joined the JDU after he won, but he also polled 5.6% of the total votes. Now, most importantly, his party acted as a vote katua or a vote cutter on many seats for the NDA. The JDU has calculated, and these are figures that were shared by the JDU with me. They have calculated that in as many as 32 assembly seats, the margin of defeat for the JDU was less than what the LJP candidate on that seat had polled, meaning that if the LJP had been part of the NDA effort, these seats could have been won by the alliance. Now, the JDU finished with a below par 43 seats in the 2020 election. It was a matter of great anger within the JDU, some of which is being reflected right now with really harsh words being said about the fact that, Chirag Paswan has managed to walk off with 29 seats. And the NDA itself won 125 seats, with the Mahagathbandhan not too far behind with 110 seats. This was a victory, yes, but it could have been better, but for the LJP breaking away. This way, Chirag Paswan established that it was him and not his uncle who was the legatee of his father, and that he held the votes that had gone to his father in the past. The Lok Janshakti Party was the boss of his party, and he had the support of the voter base that his father had commanded. The NDA realized that it needed a consolidation of its votes in this particular election. They said, no, we cannot have something like the 2020, where part of our vote also goes to LJP. LJP should be within our tent, and they have a proven track record of getting their votes. Even in the 2024 election, they won all their seats. So, Chirag Paswan walked back in and sat at the negotiating table with a very strong deck of cards. He negotiated well. He kept his public pronouncements at a minimum, and he pulled off a good deal for himself within the NDA. For many who feel that Chirag Paswan is not a patch on his father, that may be so, but till now he has demonstrated that he has been shrewd in creating and using any leverage that he can. Whether he will be able to pull off a bigger share of seats, going by the number of seats that he's fighting, needs to be seen. Now, we will talk about that when results for the Bihar Assembly elections are out on November 14. Do watch this space and keep watching us. Thank you so much for staying with us on this episode. This is all I have for you this week. Thank you.